And yeah, it seems like he's doing well coming back from injury. But yeah, I don't think it was destined to last forever.
MVP well, because
Oh yeah,
to me, he's the
yeah.
MVP of the league right now. He's been unbelievable. He's averaging more assists than he's ever averaged. By the way, Steph Curry's he's averaging one more assist. I think Steph is averaging 6.3. He's averaging 5.8 for a power forward or a three, whatever you want to call Kevin Durant with the wingspan he has.
Not a primary ball handler, regardless.
The fact that he is a passer now, he's rebounding almost 8 rebounds a game, and he's scoring 29 a clip. I mean, how could you not say that this guy isn't the MVP of the league?
Yeah, and I'm with you. MVP, KD would be up there. I think Jokic has a really strong argument. He's not getting talked about enough, maybe because being in Denver, a smaller market. I mean, Steph's getting MVP buzz just because of what he's doing. The Warriors are a 1 seed. And sure, he can be in the conversation, but I think Jokic and KD also have really strong arguments for MVP right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask, in terms of both the MVP races and also the competition across the Western Conference and also the NBA Finals, because the Golden State Warriors are a great team right now, who do you think is the biggest threat to both of those? Is it Durant directly? Is there somebody else maybe that's a dark horse that we're not talking about? And in the West, is it the Suns that are the biggest threat? And in the East, are the Nets the biggest threat, or is it someone else, you think?
Yeah, in the West, I think we got a glimpse of that in those 2 games back-to-back against the Suns, right? The Suns beat the Warriors in Phoenix, and the Warriors got the better of him at home, but then there was no Devin Booker. Phoenix played them well overall, even though they split at 1-1. Mikal Bridges defended Steph well. I mean, anytime you can put length on Steph, and then guarding Steph is never just a one-man job. It has to be the team defense, and your rotations have to be on point. You have to take away the three, and the Phoenix did a really good job of that. And so I could see if that were a playoff series, of all the things they could throw at Steph defensively, that could give the Warriors problems. Now, we haven't seen the Warriors with Klay, and we don't know what Klay is going to be like when he comes back. And I think it's going to take him a couple months to ramp up his endurance. But that Suns defense was probably one of the best I've seen anyone play the Warriors all season. Philly did a good job. Matisse Thybulle did an excellent job as well. But I'd say the Phoenix out of the West. In the East, how can you not go Nets? And we don't even know, like, if Kyrie comes back, or even if he doesn't, KD's just playing at such an unbelievable level right now. And then you got the added motivation that KD would want to beat his old team. Harden's out there, who probably hates the Warriors and really wants to beat them as well.
In his head forever.
So hold on. Who's to say that Golden State's going to the finals, buddy? I mean,
he's just setting up the storyline because he's right about Harden. They're in his head forever.
I could set up some storylines. You want to hear them?
That's fair. They're a long way from the finals, but the storylines are definitely there if they do meet in the final. It'd be entertaining.
Yes. As you guys know, we are talking to Clutch Points head of video department and NBA writer, Calvin Fong. Calvin, you mentioned the Phoenix Suns, and to me, Chris Paul has been the MVP of the league the last 2 years. Okay, let's be honest. And I hate how the MVP is, the voting is put together. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's go and look at what Chris Paul has done everywhere he's gone. Okay, the Clippers, obviously, he went over there, Lob City. He took them to the playoffs every single year. When healthy, Chris Paul was always in the playoffs. Never had a healthy team around him. Then he gets traded to OKC. He goes to OKC. The team is the youngest team in basketball. No superstar, no player. Russell Westbrook's gone. He goes over there. I think he got traded for Russell Westbrook, if I'm not mistaken, or he's involved in that trade. I don't remember.
I think they traded for him after the
fact.
After
the fact. Whatever. They moved him in over there. He had 1 year. They were a 5th seed going into the playoffs. OKC was a 5th seed. Then he gets traded to Phoenix in the offseason last year, okay? He goes to the Phoenix Suns, which, by the way, were 14th. They were ranked 14th in the Western what was it, the 14th or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
14th in the Western Conference or something like that. They were one of the worst teams in the West. He goes over there, and he makes them a number 1 seed, and he takes them all the way to the finals, okay? And this man has not gotten any respect from the league, the MVP voting. He is, to me, the best point guard of our generation. It's not even an argument. And the fact that people don't give him the credit for what he has done in the NBA is a crazy estimation. And by the way, people are putting Steph Curry in the top 5 best point guards of all time, which I think is crazy when Chris Paul has been a dominant force in the NBA since he's come into the league, and he plays two-way basketball. So I want to know your opinion, and you got to be honest with me, and you are a Golden State Warriors fan. If you were to take a player right now at your point guard position, who would you take? Chris Paul or Steph Curry right now?
It would depend on the other pieces on the team. I think you're absolutely right that Chris Paul makes every team he goes to better. I was surprised when he went to OKC and he took that team that far to where they got to. Yeah, that was like a wake-up call for me. Like, I knew Chris Paul was good, but he can drag that team there. Him on Houston, they had the Warriors beat, and I don't remember what it was, 2018.
Until he got hurt.
And then him getting injured, that kind of turned the series, and then the Warriors won the last 2 games, and you got the 27 straight missed threes. So yeah, he easily could have a ring right now if he had stayed healthy that year too. I don't know about MVP of the whole league the past couple of years, but you're definitely right in that he deserves more credit. I think if I had to choose one player right now, if it's the Warriors, then I want Steph on that team just because he is that system, and Draymond needs to play with a guy like Steph. But if it's any other team out there, and say they have 3-point shooting already and they need that glue guy, you go Chris Paul. And he's shown that he can take a team, he can take a good team to the next level. He can take a bad team into the playoffs. Yeah, he doesn't get the kind of buzz that other candidates might get, maybe because scoring numbers aren't amazing and people tend to fall in love with volume scoring. And so, yeah, I'm with you that he's been really good, and he needs more attention. But yeah, if I've got the Warriors team, I would still want Steph at that helm, because they don't have the dynasty if you replace Steph with Chris Paul for those years.
Last question for me. One bold prediction for the remainder of the season for the Warriors and just throughout the NBA. Could be anything. Could be a trade. Could be a finals playoff prediction. One bold prediction for both.
I get traded to the New York Knicks, and I become a superstar and make the crowd go wild at Madison Square Garden.
No, I like the prediction. Well, obviously I'm biased and I'm a Warriors fan, so I could see them getting to the finals if they stay healthy. And if they get to the finals, I think Steph hears all the chatter about this whole no finals MVP thing, about this whole doesn't perform on the biggest stage thing. And I think if he gets to the finals, he'll show out and they'll win it all. And he ties LeBron in rings, and then we start having, and then maybe he enters that top 5 point guard discussion, which you don't think he's in right now, but maybe with another ring and another MVP, he would. So bold prediction, they do everything. Steph gets the MVP, Warriors win it all, and he cracks your top 5 point guard. I mean, most people are thinking it's either him or Magic for 1-2, but
they're crazy.
I'd be interested in seeing your list for 5 point guards.
I could tell you my list, and it wouldn't be Steph Curry, that's for sure. People forget about Isaiah Thomas. They forget about John Stockton. They forget about Jason Kidd. I mean, these guys transitioned the game. They changed the game for what it is today. And the fact that people are putting Steph Curry there, and he's not a predominant point guard in my eyes. He's more of a 2-1. That's what he is. And if you want to say he's the best 2-1 point, I guess whatever you want to call it, a 2-1 type of player, yes, he's the best. Sure. But as far as a 1, come on, man. He doesn't even lead the league in assist at the point guard position. What does the point guard predominantly do? He passes the ball. He makes everybody around him better. Steph Curry last year, as his team wasn't bad, he couldn't even get him in the playoffs. So in my eyes, with Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins and Wiseman and all the players that they had a good team. They weren't great, but a good enough team that should have made the playoffs, and they didn't make the playoffs. And to me, that says a lot about who Steph Curry is as a point guard. If you want to say he's the best 2-1 player, unbelievable shooter, greatest shooter we've ever seen, no question. But I hate it when people say when he's better. He's not even the best point guard in the league right now, okay? And that's my opinion when I look at every statistic and what a point guard is supposed to do, making players around him better. And again, that doesn't take away his greatness as a shooter, because he's special. and that's nothing. There's nothing to sniff about.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If we're talking the mold of what a traditional point guard is, then yeah, Stockton, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Isaiah Thomas, right? I also think though that comparing across different eras it's so difficult because the game was so different pretty much in every decade, and so it's comparing apples and oranges. I'm not a big fan of all-time rankings really for anything in basketball, just because it's so different. And I mean, not many of us are old enough to have seen all these guys that we rank play. Like I'm 29. I didn't have the pleasure of seeing Magic and Bird play. Wilt and Bill Russell, and those guys, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West. And so at some point, we're just kind of we're guessing based on what we know about them, based on the stats that we see, based on what we've read about how they changed the game. So I'm not a big fan of trying to compare them. Maybe we should change more into like a top 5 of the decade, or like the GOAT of this era or something. I'd be more a fan of that. But you're right in that Steph doesn't fit the traditional mold of a point guard. And I will say, though, to last year's team, last year's Warriors team was not amazing without Steph. I think they're just okay. They had a game with against the Raptors last year. They lost by 50 that Steph didn't play in. And I think they were down by 60 at that point. And then the Raptors let up a little bit. And that was the team that Steph had. And they got the 8 seed. So in any traditional non-play-in year, that's a playoff team.
Calvin, tell the fans how they can find you on social media.
Follow me on Twitter at CalFongNBA.
Well, I will say this. We really loved you. We really appreciate you joining us. We'd love to get you on again to talk more Warriors basketball as the season progresses and as the playoffs return. Speedy will reach out to you. Thank you for all the time, and congratulations on your firstborn kid.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.